All right, welcome everybody. We're going to start by singing a song together. 1024 in the Teal Book. When the Spirit says do. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you've got to do, oh Lord. You've got to do when the Spirit says. Now sing. You says do. Spirit 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 says do. You've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. You've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you've got to sing. Oh Lord, you've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. Now soft. Spirit says sing. A little bit more. More. Spirit says sing. Spirit says sing. Spirit says sing. Now dance. You've got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You've got to dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you've got to dance, oh Lord. You've got to dance when the Spirit says dance. Quiet. When it says dance, Spirit says dance. Spirit says dance. Spirit says, a little more. Spirit says dance. Spirit says dance. That's to do. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you've got to do. Oh Lord, you've got to do when the Spirit says do. Now soft. Spirit says do. Spirit says do. A little more. Spirit says do. Spirit says do. More. Spirit says do. Spirit says do. Spirit says do.
Good morning, you youths. Can I hear y'all make a joyful noise? Oh my goodness, it's amazing to see so many gorgeous humans who showed up and showed out to church today. Folks, it is important that you showed up here this morning because gathering in community is an act of rebellion against isolation and hopelessness. And what do we say? Okay, I think the first few of you folks got that, and some of the Northwest folks, so we're going to practice that again. When I say, what do we say? You say, we are rebels for hope. Okay, so gathering together in community is an act of rebellion against isolation and hopelessness. And what do we say?
We are rebels for hope.
Oh, I believe you. How about those musicians, folks?
We've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. We've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you've got to sing. Oh Lord, you've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. Spirit says sing. Spirit says sing. Spirit says sing. Okay, here we go. Says sing. Spirit says sing. Spirit says sing.
We begin the service by lighting the chalice, which is the symbol of faith that we share. Please repeat after me. We light this flame to liberate truth.
We light this flame to liberate truth.
Radiate kindness.
Radiate kindness.
And love courageously.
And love courageously.
Good morning, and welcome to this space where we are gathering as one connected church community, gathering both virtually and in person. And it's great to see so many people in person. I'll ask the tech team to turn the cameras around while we take a moment to wave and greet your neighbor, including the lovely faces we have here on the screen. Where's our tech team? There we go, there we go. We have an impromptu tech team today. That is some enthusiastic waving. I love it, love it. Yes, this will take a while, so we will keep going, and I hope everyone on Zoom is appreciating this great waving because it's filling me with happiness right now. And my name is Mary Lee Seacrest. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your worship leader this morning. I am joined on the chancel by Reverend Karen Madrone of UU Farmington, Reverend Julie Brock from Detroit and Northwest, and our impromptu tech team member, Pastor Eli Krantz. And today we are also delighted to have two music directors with us, Todd Ballou and Diana Munch. And Steve Curtin will be helping with drums, and we have an amazing UU collective choir with us that we already heard from today. Let's give them a hand too.
Wait, collective choir, that must mean that we have, hold on, 1, 2, do we have 3 UU congregations in this sanctuary gathered here today? How outstanding. You sort of already did this, but I just want one big round of applause for all of the people, Summer and Veronica, and all of the people that made this happen here today. And this lifelong Detroiter is the reason that the suburbanites had a place to park. So, good on you, Colleen. The First Unitarian Universalist Church of Detroit has been worshiping on this corner at Cass and Forest for more than 100 years, but we were not the first ones here. Our church building occupies the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of the Anishinaabeg, in particular the Three Fires Confederacy of the Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples. We acknowledge Indigenous people and communities who live here now and those who were forcibly removed from their homelands. In offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm Indigenous sovereignty, history, and experiences.
If you have a joy or sorrow you wish to share with the congregation, we invite you to take a few moments to write a message on an index card, which hopefully can be found in front of you, and if not, ask a neighbor, and put in the collection plate during offering. For Zoom participants, please send any joys or sorrows to be shared with the congregation via chat to the Zoom participant named Chancel. And if you are new here, welcome. Please fill out a connection card, which can also be found in front of you in your pew. This can also be given to the ushers as they walk past later during offering. You can find more out about events and the life of the church in the weekly newsletter. A few things to highlight are, first, we have an exciting announcement. First UU has partnered with the Al-Nadwa Free Thinking Society to bring Ilan Pappé to a lecture here at our church. Ilan Pappé is one of the world's leading Israeli historians and is particularly knowledgeable about the conflict in the Middle East. He will give a lecture this Tuesday, May 14th at 6:30 p.m., and we want to make a big deal of his being here. So please look out for the flyer we will be sending out and help us publicize this event. If you can be here to help out that evening, please let Reverend Julie know. We also have Mary Jo Ebert here from the Michigan UU Social Justice Network, MooseGen. And during coffee hour, you can meet her to talk about getting out the vote. And UU Detroit will also be participating in the Motor City Cleanup next Saturday at 10 a.m. People will be helping us clean the outside of the church, so grab your garden gear and pitch in. Please see Veronica Adams for details. And when Northwest and Detroit's worship teams met earlier this month to plan the summer services, we decided to delve a little deeper into our shared ministry experiment. From the first Sunday in July until Water Communion on the second Sunday in September, we will plan on all joint services, alternating between First Detroit and Northwest, except for one Sunday where everyone is going to Farmington. And how did we make that decision? Well, the biggest reason is that attendance is lower in the summer. So from a worship perspective, that means fewer volunteers are able to do all of the tasks associated with Sunday morning. Combining services during these low attendance weeks will take the pressure off those who are recruiting volunteers, will create critical mass for youth programming, and saves us money by reducing the amount we spend on guest speakers. Some of us have attended UU churches for so long that we remember when our churches were completely closed in the summer, a legacy from our Universalist ancestors who were too busy working on their farms to attend church in the summer. So if you're working on your farm, you will get a pass. But when fall comes, we'll check in to see how well this experiment worked for our congregants, and we hope the summer will be restorative and allow us to stay connected. And I was at that meeting, part of this decision. I'm very, very excited about what we have planned for the summer, and so hope you guys are as well.
That is all really good stuff to know, but Reverend Karen, I think that there's more important stuff for them to know, which is that no matter who you are,
what you believe or who you love,
where you're from or what identities you hold,
with all of your joy and gifts,
with all of your pain and your history,
you are welcome and wanted here.
We now invite you into an hour outside the demands of daily life, an hour of respite. Come, let us worship together.
How many Unitarians does it take to...
I don't know about you guys, but I can't do that. So it is now time for our story for all ages, and I am going to ask for everyone's participation in our story today. I'm just going to start, and this is what we call an insta-pageant, which means people are just going to come and do their roles when it is time, okay? It might be messy, but messy is one of my very favorite theological terms. So, let's get started. Once upon a time, there was a teacher named Sophia. Sophia had been a teacher in the town where she lived for so long that the kids she first had in her class grew up and had kids of their own, and they were now in her class. She looks good for her age. Nearly everyone in town knew Sophia and loved her because not only was she an excellent teacher, she was also very kind. One day when Sophia got to work, she found a note on her desk, and the note read,
Dear Sophia, I will be around tomorrow. I wonder if I might stop by your house for tea tomorrow afternoon. Your friend, God?
At first, Sophia thought it was a joke, and then she thought, what if it's not a joke? What if God was really gonna come to her house tomorrow afternoon? Sophia thought she should get ready, just in case. When she got home, Sophia cleaned her house from top to bottom, although we all know that it's okay to have guests, even if your house is a little messy. But she still cleaned until everything was sparkling. In the morning, Sophia baked some of her famous fresh bread that everyone in the town loved. Sophia hoped God would like her bread too. And then she waited at the door. She was so nervous, she didn't know what to expect. And just then, I need someone to be our knocker. Is there someone who could get out a hymnal or... Okay, all right, Todd and I saw Nell and Todd get okay. So whenever I say, and then there was a knock at the door. Okay, amazing. Anybody can knock that wants to, really. Okay. There was a knock at the door. She took a big breath and opened the door slowly, and on the other side was the community gardener.
Hi, Sophia. I brought you some beautiful flowers from my garden. I was hoping that we could perhaps exchange this lovely bouquet for a loaf of bread.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. Come in. You can place the flowers right there, actually. I'm expecting a very important visitor who you might want to meet, so please come in and make yourself at home.
So they set the flowers on the table, and it was so beautiful that it made everyone clap with delight. Come on, you know your cue. And they sat and they waited until there was a knock at the door. And Sophia went to answer it, and it was all of the children. All of the children from the community. Come on up. All of the children from the community. It was all of them, all at once. They were playing some game. It was all of the children. Amazing. I'm going to make room for the children. I'm going to go down here.
Come on, large child.
Amazing. And as the children were coming up, one of them said to Sophia in the microphone,
That's good. That's a good mic. Okay.
Hello, Miss Sophia. We smelled your famous bread baking and thought we'd stop by to see if it is ready.
Children, what a nice surprise. Please come in, make yourselves at home. We were just waiting for a very special guest that you might like to meet. So come in and welcome.
The children came in and they saw the beautiful flowers that made them clap with delight. And then, okay, this is where I need your help. And then the children said, oh, wait, come up here. Sorry, I'm moving the microphone away from you.
If you're waiting for a guest, why don't we teach you all a game that is so much fun it'll make you throw your hands up in the air and shout hooray.
Okay, so the children taught everyone a game, and it made everyone here's where I need your help, right? It made everyone jump up in the air and shout hooray! Okay, great, amazing. So you're going to do that. You're going to be ready every time we say, and the children taught everyone a game. You're going to go. Amazing. Wow, we need to take this to Broadway. Okay. The children taught everyone a game, and they all threw up their hands in the air, and everyone shouted. Hooray! And then there was a knock at the door. And Sophia went over to see it, and she saw that it was, now I'm coming to you, the community chorus. Everybody, the community chorus.
Sophia, we were just coming back from practice, and we smelled your bread and heard your shouts of joy and wondered if you were having a party.
Well, we are waiting to welcome a very special guest. You might want to meet them too, so please make yourself at home. I'm so delighted you came by.
The community chorus saw the beautiful flowers on the table, and they were so delighted that they burst out clapping. And then the children taught everyone a game that delighted everyone so much it made them jump up in the air and shout. And the community chorus said,
If you are waiting for a very special guest, why don't we teach you a song to welcome them, whoever they are?
That's wonderful. I'm sure my guest will love it.
and then there was a knock at the door. And she opened the door, and it was the owner of everyone's favorite restaurant.
Sophia, I was on my way to work, and I smelled the bread and heard the beautiful singing and the shouts of joy, and I wanted to stop by.
Oh, welcome. Please come in. Make yourself at home. We are all waiting for a very special guest, and if you could go into work a little late, you are very welcome to stay and meet them with us.
The restaurant owner entered the house and saw the gorgeous flowers and was so impressed that they burst out clapping. And the children taught them a game that was so delightful it made everyone jump up in the air and shout. And the community choir taught a song for everyone to sing. Amazing. The restaurant owner got back to their phone to check on those, oh wait, I'm sorry, I skipped something. Okay, go. Okay, go ahead.
This is starting to be a party. You're going to need some more than bread. How about I call up my restaurant and get them to whip up some horse divorce? I don't know how.
Hors d'oeuvres. That would be delightful. Thank you for that offer. That would be delightful.
And then there was another knock at the door. And a community elder stopped by, although you don't need to be old to be a community elder.
Sophia, I was out for a stroll and smelled the bread and heard the beautiful singing and the shouts of joy, and I wanted to stop by.
Oh, well, welcome, community elder who's not old. It is always good to see you. Please come in, make yourself at home. We're all waiting for a very special guest, one I think you might especially like to meet.
The elder stepped inside and saw the gorgeous flowers, and it made her clap with delight. And then the children taught everyone a game that made everyone so happy that everyone jumped and shouted. and the community chorus sang their song. The restaurant owner got back to the phone to check on the orzadors. And the elder said,
I just love it when so many people get together from the community. I love so much. While we are waiting, why don't I tell you all the story of how my family became part of this community?
it was a story everyone had heard, but somehow always wanted to hear again. All afternoon, people stopped by Sophia's house, lured by yummy smells and happy sounds. The townspeople filled her house upstairs, downstairs, and overflowed into the backyard and the front yard. And as they got hungry, they made dinner together as the sun set and the moon rose. It was a great party. People were playing games and telling stories and making food and music together. Sophia had such a nice time that she completely forgot about her important guest. Even as she waved goodbye to all of her friends at the end of the night.
Thanks for coming.
Bye, thanks for stopping by.
Bye. Oh, forgot about the bread.
In the morning, though, Sophia woke up and remembered everything that was happened, and she was confused. What happened to God? All during her walk to work, she tried to figure out what happened, and along the way, she smiled and waved at people she ran into who had been at the party the night before. And she thought to herself, we really should do that again sometime. When Sophia arrived at work, she was surprised to find another note on her desk.
Dear Sophia, I had such a wonderful time yesterday. The bread was delicious. The flowers were divine. How did you know that song is my favorite? Thank you for being such a wonderful host. I hope we can do it again soon. Love, God.
The ultimate shows itself in many faces, names, and forms. Sometimes it is simply the community around us. We're going to sing many names right now. We're going to bring many names right now. So I invite you to rise and join us in singing in body and or spirit. Bring many names. It's going to be verses 1 through 4. And the kids are welcome to go out and get ready for their bake sale for Michigan Liberation at this time.
Each week, First UU shares its plate contribution with community partner. This month, that partner is Michigan Liberation. Michigan Liberation is a statewide organization dedicated to ending mass incarceration and transforming the criminal legal system by implementing effective campaigns and leadership development of directly impacted people. Nell Hearns from Michigan Liberation is here to talk today a little bit about the work of their organization. I'll invite you up.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really wanted to call my colleague, Miss Mary Barber, up, as well as a very dedicated core team member, Ms. Jenny Teed, if that is okay with everyone. No, I'm going to ask you to put this right here. Okay. Can you hear me? All right. And I do apologize. I was told that we were going to come up right after offering, so my mistake. So I just want to, good morning. I just wanted to go over this presentation real quick. If you could see it, I can't really see it, but my tablet is turning on. So I know I have only 10 minutes, so I'm going to really be brief. My name is Snail Hearns. I'm a lead organizer at Michigan Liberation, where I oversee the in-cash bail and the Michigan Black Mama's Day bailout. This campaign is really important for us because it is said that when you remove a man from a home, you affect that home. But when you remove a mother, you affect the community. So with Black women being 7.6% of our society in America, we are the fastest growing demographic in our jails and prisons. As African Americans in general, we are 13.6% of the population, 6% male, and 7.6 female. But in our jails, we are 44%, and in our prisons, we are 33%. So something is really wrong with this picture. I just wanted to remind everyone that although the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, it is still in effect, very much so in our prisons. It is the new form of slavery. The 13th Amendment allows involuntary servitude to those that are incarcerated. So maybe we need to look at this full picture of what is going on in society. So let's get to, we indicated what Michigan Liberation is about, and I'm going to pull up my slides. Let me use my phone. I don't have a Wi-Fi. While I'm pulling up this my slides, I wanted to just say that I am just returning from Africa. I was blessed and privileged to visit Africa twice in 6 months. I visited Ghana. And what I was able to capture and embrace in that visit is something that's very profound that Marcus Garvey had said. And he had quoted that a people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, or culture is like a tree without its roots. So in going to Africa, and particularly going to Ghana, I was able to tap into those roots. I was able to build new roots, and I fully embraced it and bring it home to the United States. So I did want to share that because that was something that just in meeting the people, Africa was never a part of my bucket list, y'all. It wasn't. But I was privileged in going, and I encourage everyone to visit that continent because it is full of beauty, and the people are so loving and endearing. So just want to share that. So in the presentation, as soon as I could pull it up, and of course I can't, so I'm gonna go over here. And I have a loud voice.
The folks on Zoom won't be able to hear you.
So we talked about what Michigan Liberation is about, and it is here. We know about what cash bail is, and we also know that black people are 5 times, if you could go back down a little bit, are 5 times more likely to be arrested as a white person, and this is from the People's Policy Project, these statistics that are being quoted. Next slide, please. So our hope is not found in shackles and chains. Our hope is found in programs that will benefit those that are suffering. What we found in doing bailouts is many of the people that we assist have mental health issues. They also have substance use issues. So we need a program that's caring for these individuals and creating programs, sustainable programs that will help and assist. So our hope is not found like this in terms of women in cages. That's really what it is. I wanted to share this statistic. The amount of women in U.S. jails surpasses the combined total of Russia, which is 134 million, China, which is bordering, if not already surpassing 1.5 billion, India, which is 134, Thailand, which is 71 million, and India, which is also bordering 1 billion people. Nearly 1/3 of the global female inmate population family is housed right here in the United States. 1/3 of the U.S. global female inmate population is right here, although we're talking about countries that they have billions. And here we have, by the way, 331.9 million is our population from the U.S. Census. 331.9 million. But we're surpassing these other countries that have billions, okay? Next slide, please. So we know in terms of the process, it's booking, and then a bail is set. And what we're finding is that the bail system itself criminalizes poverty. It criminalizes poverty. And it also creates a wealth-based factor where it's the haves against the have-nots. If you have it, and even if you're guilty, you can get out. But if you don't have it, you languish in jail days, weeks, months, years until your case has adjudicated. Next slide, please. So statistically, in terms of black and brown bail, that's the amount of money for a black person or a brown person, a person of color, and that's comparing to what a white person would pay. The study comparing black and white individuals found that black defendants were 3.6 times more likely to be assigned a bail, with the bail amount averaging $7,287 higher. Next slide, please. So if you don't have the bail, you wind up languishing in jail. In the meantime, we're talking about the community that I talked about earlier, right? The children, they suffer. Who's taking care of the children? Oftentimes, they wind up, if a family member is not available, in foster care. Next slide, please. You can go to the next one. Seems like we have a... Okay, so pretrial detainee, that's the title of the person that's actually in jail, who's pretrial, they're serving pretrial. So on any given night in Michigan, as many as 8,000 presumed innocent people languish in jail, again, for days, weeks, months, years, until their case have adjudicated. Presumed innocent, accused yet not convicted. Also, on any given night in the United States, almost 500 million, that same category. Accused, yet not convicted. Birth behind bars. I am a mother, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, the aunties, the grandmas, the cousins. Happy Mother's Day, but I'm a mother of 3 and a grandma of 5. And I could tell you in terms of that childbirthing, that it was a very difficult childbirthing process for me. I can't even fathom how it would be to be shackled and chained, y'all. I can't. To not have a loved one in a room, and this is what goes on in our jails and in our prisons. I don't know if a lot of people understand in terms of the whole process of copying a plea, but that's a bartering kind of structure where you are offered, just go ahead and say you did it, but I didn't do it. But just say you did it and they'll just give you a year. Other than that, you can maybe do 5 or 10. When you have something like that, where you'll be out of your home, you're not gonna be around your children, sometimes people take it. More often than not, they do. So statistically, 95% of felony convictions in the United States are through guilty pleas. 18% of known exonerees pleaded guilty to crimes that they didn't commit. 65% of 418 exonerees who pleaded guilty were of people of color. And 83% of DNA exoneration plea cases resulted in the identification of an alternative perpetrator. Wasn't even that person. And these are just some of the people. Ada, 19 years she served. Rodney, 18 years served. Angela, 18 years, and she's still in, although she's been exonerated, but you still got to go through the system, y'all. It's not quick. Next slide, please.
Since you asked me to join you.
Yes.
Ooh. Hey friends, it's good to see everybody. Welcome. It's been an honor for me to work with Nell with this campaign. How long have you been here?
Since 2000.
4 years? I was a year ahead of Nell working with this campaign before she came into the work, but I was working with her brother, so family. I was called up on the spot. I wasn't prepared to say anything. Nell and I and Mary could talk for lengths about this program and are filled with so much information, and Nell is filled with so much information. We are gonna move things along quickly because we want to make sure we have such a full service today, and the kids are setting up the fundraiser, and we want to make sure people have time for the fundraiser. Please invite Nell, and this isn't quite closing, I'm not taking the mic and closing from you, but Please invite Nell to your congregation or your workplace or your community place to share all this detail and knowledge she has in this slideshow. There's been opportunities where she's led a whole church service just around this work. And so she can come to do that, and she may have done that at Farmington or Southfield. I know she's been out to Farmington. But I was just wondering if maybe in closing, and then let's come back to the slideshow with people other time, if you could share right now we're in the middle of our Mother's Day campaign to bail folks out. And how many folks have we already bailed out?
We just started, so we only just bailed 2 mamas out, but guess what, y'all? When I'm leaving here, I'm headed to the jails to bail some mamas out.
Can you share one of the stories about that mama?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so one of the moms that we just bailed out last week was a mother who served 16 days in jail. She's a mother of 2. She's also a college student. She missed 2 finals, and she also lost her job. And it was for traffic violations. Not having a suspended license or driving with no insurance.
How long was you there?
16 days. This is what we see. There's a narrative that goes around in terms of, and it's also like a purge, like keep them locked up, your communities be safe. How is leaving this mom in jail, away from her 2 children, missing 2 finals? She's in medical training, nursing. How is this helping? This is one of many stories that we see so often. I shared the story last year of the young lady that we helped, 23-year-old mom of 3. Just to bring you up to speed about her, she was exonerated, y'all. But she had a 3-month-old baby, so she's going through postpartum and PTSD from being confined for those 23 days. She lost custody of all of her children. Because of the trauma, we don't understand. And I think I shared the story that the reporter did, where the baby, the 4-year-old, grabbed her mother when the reporter was leaving, saying, "Mama, Mama, don't leave." Because that is what she saw, this white reporter. She correlated that with the cop that arrested her mother. So what we have to do is change. If we are incarcerating more women with a 331.9 million population in the United States, more so than all of these other countries, there's something wrong with this picture. We have to envision a more transformative form of justice. We have to help. We have to instill hope. So I'm done.
So today we want you to make your donations and continue to make donations to the Mother's Day bailout campaign so we can get mothers out. It's not limited to that. We also bail all people out, sometimes even throughout the year. And we'll be in coffee hour with a table, and we want you to come over and sign the pledge to end cash bail.
Yes. Lastly, I'm going to let Mary tell you about our caucus. We have a Macomb County Caucus Day on June 1st. It is a caucus where if any of you live in Macomb County, please come out. We're going to be at the First Presbyterian, I'll have it downstairs. It's a lot of things going on in my head, but yeah, we'll have the information downstairs. But we would love for you to come out, bring your ideas, what you're looking for from your legislators, and we'll have questions and things like that we will be posing to these candidates. Thank you.
Folks, I want to name something that just happened in the room, because we're all UUs and we're used to our comfortable selves, and I can see some folks squirming, and you could see Karen and I squirming up there. There was a miscommunication. It was probably my fault. And I said 2 minutes, and they heard 10. And so we're like, oh my goodness, or I said 10 minutes and there was a miscommunication. Nobody's fault. But here's something we're trying to work on in Unitarian Universalism right now. We're trying to work on dismantling white supremacy culture. So what if, in this moment, we took this as a grace, that we got to hear this beautiful message, that we came to a place where we're in proximity to poverty and racism and actually got to hear about what happens as a result of poverty and racism? What if the service goes long and we got to hear from this gorgeous human being who's gonna maybe make deeper connections with us in ways that our communities can actually get involved in deeper ways? What if you need to go to brunch, you go to brunch? What if your body needs to move, you need to move? What if we just spend the rest of the time in the service taking the time that we need, having heard from this wonderful person and having had this grace? Do you think we can do that? And now, in front of 3 congregations, you have my commitment that these churches are going to be involved in helping bail out Black mamas, yes?
And since you got to speak before the offertory, that gives everyone a chance to get their checkbooks out a little bit more. So all undesignated donations today will be split between Michigan Liberation and, because there are 3 churches here today, they will be split with Michigan Liberation and the regional picnic at Belle Isle in September, which is another joint church project. A link to give virtually is posted in the Zoom chat. This is also the time to submit any milestones or visitor contact information. For me, it's helpful because I don't have cash or a checkbook. There is a link, a QR code on the back of your program that I want to highlight as well. So no excuses, folks. And we honor your generosity by committing to ensure that our collective resources will do a greater good for ourselves and for our world than any could have done individually. Please read aloud the words of dedication, which are written in your order of service. To the work of creating beloved community within and beyond these walls, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings.
For those spoken joys and sorrows, and those which we hold within the silent sanctuaries of our hearts, I offer this prayer. Keep watch with those who work or watch or weep this night. May the suffering be soothed. May the sick be tended. May the weary find rest. May the dying and those who love them find peace. May the joyous be shielded. And may all know that we are surrounded in a love that is with us always, a web that connects us to all that exists. May we take a few moments of silence to be in this sacred space with one another, to connect our bodies to the pews, to connect to each other, and to connect with that which is more. We will come out singing.
That Which Holds All by Nancy Schaefer. Because she wanted everyone to feel included in her prayer, she said right at the beginning several names for the holy. Spirit, she said, Holy One, Mystery, God. But then thinking these weren't enough ways of addressing that which cannot be fully addressed, she added particularity, saying, Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Ancient Holy One, mystery we will not ever fully know, gracious God and also Spirit of this earth, God of Sarah, Gaia, Thou. And then, tongue loosened, she fell to naming superlatives as well. Most creative one, greatest source, closest hope. Even though superlatives for the sacred seemed to her probably redundant. But then she couldn't stop. One who made the stars, she said, although she knew technically a number of those present didn't believe the stars had been made by anyone or thing, but just luckily happened. One who is an entire ocean of compassion, she said, and no one laughed. That which has been present since before the beginning, she said, and the room was silent. Then, although she hadn't imagined it this way, others began to offer names. Peace, said one. One my mother knew, said another. Ancestor, said a third. Wind, rain, breath, said one near the back. refuge, that which holds all. A child said, water. Someone said, Kuan Yin. Then, womb. Witness, great kindness, great eagle, eternal stillness. And then there wasn't any need to say the things she thought would be important to say, and everyone sat hushed until someone said, Amen. And I believe Todd has a plan.
All right, it's time to sing another song. And because we have so many people here today, we came up with a beautiful idea of splitting into 4 groups so that we can sing in harmony. So group 1 is going to be over here in the front. Group 2 is over here in the back. Group 3 is over here in the back. And group 4 is over here in the front. And we're going to send some choir members your way to help you. And I'm also going to demonstrate all of the parts. The pattern is going to be like this. After we listen to an introduction with drums and piano, we'll come in order. 1, 2, 3, 4. Group 1, you sound like this. For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies. Just like it's in the hymnal. You know the rest.
What number is it in the hymnal, Todd?
21. Group 2, you do the exact same words. I think the words are over here, right? Yeah, all in the same note, so super easy, right? For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. You try it. For the love of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. You'll get very good at that. Group 3, you're going to go up a third and sing your first note. Do, do, do. Grateful we raise, grateful we praise, grateful we raise, grateful we praise. Now you try it. Grateful we raise, grateful we praise, grateful we raise, grateful we praise. Thank you. And group 4, you're going to go down. You're going to start at the same note as group 1 and 2. Source we raise, this our song of praise. Source we raise, this our hymn of praise. Now you. Source we raise, this our hymn of praise. Source we raise, this our hymn of praise. All right, let's give it a try. Steve, can you give us a beat first? Okay, group 1, you start us off. The beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies. Okay, group 2, for the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Okay, group 3, your turn. Grateful we raise, grateful we praise, grateful we raise, grateful we praise. Okay, group 4. Swords we raise, this our hymn of praise. 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 Okay, give yourself a hand. We made it to the end.
What a wonderful opportunity to try new things together. So many of us have stretched and grown just this morning. Can you feel it? So today is not only a significant day in the life of these 3 congregations represented, it is actually also a significant day in the anniversary of our faith. 63 years ago today, May 12th, 1961, the American Unitarian Association and the Universalist Church of America officially merged. What? Can you believe it? 63 years ago today. Amazing. 2 separate, let us not forget, Christian denominations merged into one. This great experiment is still ongoing. I tend to think of it as a big risk that both of these groups of people that didn't always know each other, they didn't know how to get along, but they thought, let's give this a try, having no idea what was going to happen 63 years later. I just am always amazed at people who are willing to take a risk, like we are this morning. They both had their fears and worries, and it almost didn't happen. There's stories about going late into the night while they worked their wordsmithing out, because we love to wordsmith, right? They worked it all out, and it's interesting because part of what didn't happen is in the Article 2 section of the Unitarian Universalist Association governance bylaws. There were different understandings of the divine, even in these very earliest of days. They came to a compromise, and the merger was enacted. The folks in attendance at the meeting of these 2 organizations could not have imagined in any way the UUism would continue to grow and evolve and become something far beyond any of them could have imagined then. I believe that even if they couldn't have imagined it, they would still support it because they were forward-thinking people who are willing to take a risk on what they did not yet know. We are all beneficiaries of the risk they took only 63 years ago today. When I think of the risk the Unitarians and the Universalists took, I can't help but reflect back on the language of the value pluralism, which is the theme for this month, both at Farmington, and I know that First U Detroit and Northwest also follow the Soul Matters curriculum. So we're all talking about pluralism this month, which is also reflected in the music. And so the verbiage for pluralism from the proposed value states, pluralism, we celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. So over the last week, in preparation for this sermon, I kept thinking on the section that says, "We covenant to learn from one another." There are lots of different sections in that, but that's the one that just kept coming back to me. Learn from one another. I kept mulling over that phrase. Felt like there was some deeper meaning in those words. To me, it says pluralism requires us to be humble enough, self-aware enough to acknowledge we don't have to go searching for truth and meaning on individual quests, which is always a possibility, but that we are also a source for each other. We can be in relationship together. Can we be open to learning from one another as also one source? I sincerely hope so. Several weeks ago in the planning for this service, we agreed to use the reading that Pastor Eli read earlier. And in that poem, I could feel the layers of one stage and the next of how our hearts can be expanded if we are truly willing to learn from one another, if we are willing to stay in relationship like the Unitarians and the Universalists, who were so afraid of losing what they had before, but they were willing to take a risk. Even these 63 years on, we are still debating, was it the right decision? Who knows? Who knows? But we're willing to stay in it. I wonder how many of you have ever felt like the person in the poem that was read earlier. It starts off talking about she. We don't know who the she is. We don't know what the experience of it was. But the speaker, that they wanted to include everyone. And so she starts out her prayer in a general kind of way. Her intentions, like we all have, her intentions were for everyone to feel included. And that is a strong value of Unitarian Universalism. It's wonderful to be inclusive and thoughtful. It helps us remember that the world doesn't revolve around us or the plans that we might have had today or any of our individual beliefs. The world just doesn't revolve around us as humans and our own separate selves. Being inclusive and thoughtful helps us to expand what we actually think about. In the poem, the speaker says out loud a few names of the holy that came to mind: Spirit, Holy One, Mystery, God. Those are thoughtful words indeed that recognize the holy for sure. I can imagine a few weeks ago we hosted the Farmington Area Interfaith Association lunch, and that might have been a good start. In fact, I did share this poem at the end. I can't help but think that we use are very similar to the speaker at this point in the poem. We are so very careful. We say we are welcome to people of all religious leanings. But what if our carefulness, our polite inclusion, isn't really inclusion itself? What if these are words we say about others in some kind of way, some kind of you out there kind of way, but they don't actually include ourselves in a I could be open to these beliefs, I could be open to you kind of way? What if it's about keeping our walls separate all the time? What if we say we are supportive and welcome to all, but we don't actually spend time listening to each other about what we actually believe? Is it true inclusion, true pluralism, if we say, yes, you over there, that you can have whatever it is you believe about the divine or religion, I just don't want to know about it? All are welcome here, but I don't want to know about how your prayers to the God of your understanding, your meditation, your time in silence, your music, whatever it is that feeds your soul, I don't really want to know about how that helps you become a better person. But you are welcome here in the most general, careful way possible. As a lesbian who only found Unitarian Universalism in 2005, I equate most UU's careful pluralism with how people said they welcomed me in their world before marriage equality became legal. People would say, "We love you, we just don't want to know about your relationship. You can come to the office gathering, just don't bring your partner." Or, "You are welcome to come, but not the person you love. We don't want to hear about it." And once I've had in previous work situations, it got pretty ugly about some things people don't want to know. We don't really want that here, but you are. It's kind of like that. If we say, pluralism makes space for a wide variety of beliefs, without also saying, without taking the next step, I want to learn from you. I want to understand the world you live in. And not in some transactional way, because now we need this person for some other reason, but because we too can be transformed. Then I venture to say that it's not actually pluralism if we're not actually wanting to learn and grow. It's politeness, but it's not relationship. We too can be transformed by being in relationship with others. Transformation is possible. True pluralism values relationship over rightness, relationship over smugness, relationship over having everything figured out. If you came to Unitarian Universalism for answers, well, I hope you're disappointed. We are not here for answers. We are here for questions. And the questions under that, and the questions under that. We are always open to what we do not yet know. When we stay in the place of the general, like the speaker at the beginning of the poem, we are staying in our brain, which is a good place. It's a great place to start, but we are still staying in the place of separation. We haven't brought our whole selves to the relationship. But then the speaker goes from generalities to naming specifics about the divine. Mystery we will not ever fully know. Gracious God, Spirit of this earth, God of Sarah, Gaia, thou. You can feel the energy changing as she gets more specific and allows her heart to become more connected. I wonder if you can feel that too. Then, just like we've been talking about at my congregation about becoming more in touch with our bodies, I wonder how you felt your bodies change and the experiences you have maybe felt just this morning. We're getting more in touch with our bodies and the speaker's tongue is loosened. Ever have that feeling of something breaking loose inside your physical self? The way that we carry around ourselves, sometimes we forget. I know I've told my congregation that I grew up with this belief that somehow my body just carried my brain around in the world, but that's not really how we live our lives, is it? We live in our whole selves. Have you ever felt the feeling of something being loosened that maybe you didn't have any control over? All of a sudden, something is loose. Ever feel some part of ourselves get loosened and then we find ourselves naming and being connected with something we were previously unaware of? How all of a sudden noticing the feeling in our bodies helps us to be present with something far beyond ourselves, like the one who made the stars, even if we, too, believe that there wasn't really a specific being of some kind who made the stars. What might it feel like in your life to feel something break loose in your understanding? Maybe an old idea you have that needs to be re-examined, or a relationship that needs to be revitalized, someone you need to reach out to, someone you need to ask forgiveness of. Perhaps something needs to break loose in your heart, or you could hold less tension in your chest or your stomach. Notice how you're feeling it maybe now. Perhaps becoming aware of these things that need to break free might help you get in touch with a new way of seeing the world. What is possible? What needs to be broken loose in your life? Could our value of pluralism help us move from we accept others having their beliefs to perhaps, just maybe, I could open my heart up open as well? Just maybe. Because of a wonderful thing happens when we take a risk like the speaker in the poem. As we start to get quiet, get more in tune with our bodies, be willing to name something beyond ourselves, even if it's just something we don't understand, like I just don't really understand why the birds come to our feeders all the time. Like, I wonder what that's about. Can we just be open to what we don't know? We start to think on maybe one who is an entire ocean of compassion, and no one laughs, including ourselves. When we get to that place, other people start to feel safe around us. They now know that they matter because you were willing to be vulnerable and open. Your ability to say, I don't know what's going to happen in this space, literally this space where at least many of my congregation, the U Farmington, have not been here before. This is only, I think, my second time here. I don't know what's going to happen in the potluck afterwards. I don't know what we are going to create together in this collective we are hoping to build. I don't know, but I am willing to stay in relationship. If we can keep on saying to each other, I want to learn from you. Your beliefs matter to me. I could be wrong about an idea I had about something. Tell me how you see this. What can we learn together? If we can keep on embracing our differences, use curiosity and respect, we can truly live our value of pluralism. We can go from a light politeness to true relationship. Like this new venture we are hopefully embarking upon today, we celebrate these possibilities. Let us get to know each other, build bridges, maybe have some messy mistakes along the way. We will forgive each other and grow. May it ever be so. Amen.
In the Talmud of the Jewish tradition, the sage Hillel said, "What is hateful to you, do not do to others. This is the whole of the law. All the rest is commentary."
In the Hindu legend of the Mahabharata, the divine Krishna declared, "This is the sum of duty. Do nothing unto others which would cause you pain if done to you."
Gospel of Matthew, in the Christian scriptures, the Messiah Jesus says, "Whatever you wish that others would do to you, do so to them."
In the Buddhist text of the Udana Varga, the student is urged, "Hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful."
It is written, it is taught, may it be so.
In the Muslim hadith of al-Nawawi, the Prophet Muhammad teaches, "No one of you is a believer until he desires for his brother that which he desires for himself."
In the Tai Shang treatise of Taoism, the seeker is instructed, "Regard your neighbor's gain as your gain, and your neighbor's loss as your own loss."
In the ancient wisdom of Shinto, there is a saying, "The heart of the person before you is a mirror. See there your own form."
In the Oglala Lakota spiritual leader Black Elk wrote, "All things are our relatives. What we do to everything, we do to ourselves."
Don't sit down. Don't sit down. We're not sitting down, folks. This is the point in the service when we are going to make a circle around the perimeter of our sanctuary. For folks with mobility issues, please include them in that circle. I need somebody to go stand next to Alicia. We're going to include her in the circle. We're going to make sure that everyone who can't move is, so maybe it won't be a circle. It could be like a squircle or like a swirl or like a
shape.
A shape. Absolutely. And while we're doing this, I just want to say many years ago, my friend Ben Gable, some of you know Ben Gable, and Zach Ashley, who's here in this sanctuary today, made all of our 20-year-old friends go to each other's churches. And we were like, why can't we do this more? It's taken 20 years. But this is kind of a dream come true for me. So thank you for everyone who was able to make this happen today. Todd, it was so good to see you do your thing with like enough people to actually allow you to do your thing. Diana, thank you so much. I know you were doing your thing too. Reverend Karen, Pastor Eli, who was out directing traffic this morning. Where's Veronica? Everybody give it up for Veronica, our head usher. She did so much. Summer woman of the potluck. Woo! Now, where are you? Now, thank you so much for being here. And you guys, now, where's Now? Thank you so much for being here and contributing to a service. And y'all, Reverend Karen got to experience my messiness this morning, and she still gave a sermon about coming back. So hallelujah.
Step forward. Here we go. Please repeat after me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of hope. The warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Let us celebrate that we are all sacred beings. The person next to you, the person down the row from you is all a sacred being. Look at them and feel the sacredness in this room. Let us learn from one another. May we embrace our differences with love, curiosity, and respect. Amen, and blessed be.
Amen.